Hello, 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 ladies. Happy day after Christmas and a few days before New Year's. I see I have a few of y'all on already. What up, what up, what up? This is one of my Christmas gifts this year. Coffee is my love language, and it's a long night dress. And it's a long night dress. Bronson said he thought my love language was cuddles. That would be another one for sure. Ooh, Susan, hello, South Florida. Glad to have you on. How is it in South Florida right now? It has been unseasonably warm up here in Virginia, or at least I can estimate that. I don't know. Juliana, tell me what it's normally like up here, because this is my first winter December in Virginia. Excuse me, I have a frog in my throat for some reason tonight. I just ate 12 ounces of meat. I added a little something to my normal beef bowl, which is my general dinner almost every night. I always do, in case anyone's wondering, I always do 8 ounces of beef, usually in the evening, sometimes as a burger, sometimes usually in a bowl because it's easier that way. Ground beef. Hey, babe.
Happy New Year!
It's not New Year yet.
It's basically
that. So normally I do 4 ounces of Wagyu, ground Wagyu, and 4 ounces of halal 8515 ground beef. And I will sometimes do it as a burger. And whenever I do it as literally, y'all, I'm such a creature of habit. So those of you in the build, y'all know, don't ask me for recipes because it's going to be like 2 ingredients and 1 instruction. So it's literally like 4 ounces of each beef, usually in a bowl with salt, sometimes curry powder, usually some sort of like warm spices. So allspice, cinnamon, sometimes a little curry powder. I just actually found a new one, a za'atar seasoning, another Middle Eastern spice blend from Sprouts. So it's usually that kind of stuff. And then when I'm feeling like I really want to spend a little extra energy, then I will make a burger, and I'll do that with Italian seasonings, and then I will put it in an egg life wrap, an Italian egg life wrap. So those are like my 2 interchangeable dinners, unless something special happens. So for Christmas, it was just Bronson and I here. We went to his family's for Christmas Eve, and then we spent Christmas Day here. So I went and picked up a couple of steaks. So I had my ribeye, which is my favorite, one of my favorites, and he had his filet, which is his favorite. I always like the fattier meats, and he likes the leaner meats. It's just the way it goes. So that was our Christmas dinner, but it was kind of special because we don't do steaks all the time. But otherwise, it's always one of my beef dinners. So tonight, I added an extra 4 ounces of something special. There is a Turkish restaurant on the corner between our place and the gym. So literally, we walk by this place to go to the gym, and we walk by it going home. It's called Istanbul, Cafe Istanbul. This place is so good. It's got I actually took a picture. I'm going to post it in my Instagram stories. It's a kebab on the vertical spit where they just shave the meat off. And so we will just get 8 to 10 ounces. They'll put it in a small container for us of just the meat. And so I added 4 ounces of that, only 4 ounces because it is incredibly fatty. And this particular one was very, very fatty. So yes, Rhonda, cumin, exactly. Cumin will be another thing I'll throw in there sometimes. And this is how easy it is too when you do simple stuff like that. When I want to, like, I've been playing with carbs over the last few months, getting ready to take them back out again, which I'll talk about tonight because we're talking about New Year's plans. Um, Added in carbs, then all I have to do is weigh out some butternut squash, acorn squash, sweet potato. Sometimes I do carrots, whatever it is, and then I just add it to the beef bowl. Simple, easy, really easy to stick to macros by changing one simple thing. So, all right, I didn't plan on talking about food, but we almost always talk about food when we get on here. So, tonight we are talking about post Christmas. How did it go? Did you stick to what you wanted to do? Did you not? Where are you at right now? How are you feeling the day after? And what are your plans for New Year's? Do you have any plans for what you're doing in January? Are you doing any kind of challenge? Are you doing any kind of resolution? Do you have goals that you're thinking about for the new year? So we'll talk about all that stuff tonight. Let me just jump into these comments and see what's going on here. I see we have. Susan said, cool 60s coming. So glad to be here. Girl, yes, I will take it. I want to be in Florida. I love Florida. Eventually we will land in Florida, I believe. Hey, oh my goodness, Nicole is here, former fat girl. What is up, girl? Y'all, we discovered that Nicole is our neighbor. We went to brunch together. Bronson met her in a carnivore coaches group, chit-chatting. So we will be doing a little collab coming up before the new year on Friday. We still have, we did pick a time. I might as well tell you all about it now, and then we'll share more details as we solidify the topic and whatnot. Just know it'll be some ranting. It'll be fun. Friday the 29th at 6 p.m., me and Nicole will be going on to chat about. Maybe we could call it, Nicole, here's an idea, what we're leaving behind in 2023. And it can be all of our rants about the things we don't want to see happening in 2024 in the space, in the community. Let's see. What else is going on? Okay. Wow. Okay. Juliana had gotten a huge Costco run full of meats. Sent me a beautiful picture of it. Just said she vacuum sealed and prepped almost all of it tonight. Wow, girl. Wow. You're better than me. Oh, yes, Debbie. Yeah, it got warmer here too. I went to church on Christmas Day yesterday, and I brought my big coat, and then I didn't even need it. I was like, I wasn't expecting this. And then, yeah, it's getting chilly again everywhere, it sounds like. Rhonda stuck to her plan for Christmas. Nothing going on for New Year that could derail me. She is good. I love it. That's what I would love to hear. That's right. Juliana had a aha moment. Christmas taught me I need to break up with dairy for a while. Oh, those moments when we discover this is the thing, it's got to go. I think I've told y'all the story probably many times in many different formats, that my whole journey, 12, 13, I don't know how many years ago now, 2011. So almost 13 years ago now. Started with Lent. It was a Lenten sacrifice, and it was dairy. Way before I went paleo, before I even knew what keto was. The keto word had not even been spoken in anywhere that you would hear it back then. I was doing like the master cleanse every year for New Year's. That's how little I knew about nutrition back then. Before I had any certifications, before I started strength training, all of it. It was a dairy Lenten sacrifice that cleared up my skin, changed my mood. I lost weight. People started complimenting me on what I was doing, and it was literally just taking dairy out. And that started the rabbit hole that became all of the other, just discovering what's in food, discovering food intolerances, learning to pay attention to my body. It all started there. So I implore you and I empower you, Juliana. It's going to be a powerful month. without the dairy. Ooh, Nicole's in Vegas this week. Fun. Yes. She said that me and Bronson inspired her to start morning walks. I love it. For anybody who missed it, and it's on Bronson's YouTube channel, so you can check it out there. We went live this morning, and we were just on the treadmill chit-chatting with you guys. So we're going to be doing that a lot more often. I don't know that we're going to do it every day. See what he wants to do. I will probably start bringing a tripod myself, and then I can set up and probably do like a Instagram live while we're on his YouTube live and share whatever comes up, because a lot comes up when you're doing morning cardio, let me tell you. Not a whole lot else going on. So clearing the mind, things come up and you just want to chat. So that's fun. That's something we started before the new year even starts. It was something I brought up that the day that I went to do, this is funny. Nicole, I don't know if you saw my stories, but after our brunch where I ate the garlic bread, I ended up with severe discomfort, digestive discomfort, for the first time in a very long time. Granted, it was the first time in a very long time I'd had gluten and grains. So my gut was not happy, and that just reminded me that I probably do not have a fully healed gut, that if I can't handle something like that, even one time, very rarely, occasionally, then that may be a concern and something I may need to look at in the new year. So I bring that up because I went on a walk on the treadmill afterwards, and I felt a million times better after that. So I said to Bronson, I'm thinking about doing morning walks. I remember what it felt like to do morning cardio when I was on prep. And it was just such a great kind of discipline practice, mental toughness practice, clearing the mind, and just that sometimes you really don't want to do it, but you've committed to it, so you're doing it anyway. So do I think it was from the bread or garlic, or both? Bread, because I do cook with garlic. I don't usually cook with like whole garlic. I was for a long time. Now I mainly use garlic powder just because it's easier. But I do consume garlic pretty regularly. So I doubt it was the garlic. Perhaps the oil, if they were not using olive oil, which with restaurants, it's very likely that it could have been any oxidative oil. So it could be a combo of those things, the bread and the oil, but very, very much a gluten thing for sure. I always notice it if I ever consume something with gluten, and particularly grains of any kind. Those are usually the things. Okay, I've been told there's a troll in the comments, but I don't see it. Is there something I need to be informed of? Y'all let me know who I might need to. I don't know if I can kick people out or what on here. I'm still very new to this, but I don't see it. So y'all let me know if there's something I'm missing. Good question, Susan. How many times a day do you eat? I generally eat 3 times a day, 2 to 3 times a day. I usually have 2 large meals. I have my breakfast and my dinner, and then I will either have a planned lunch. And y'all, I am the number one offender of not planning well when it comes to lunch. So sometimes it'll be a planned lunch. I have to plan it if I'm going to commit to having lunch, or I'll do like a smaller, kind of like a snack lunch. It's basically like a smaller meal, but usually always 2 large meals and then a mini meal, a mini third meal. Okay, cool. Thank you. Y'all are the best. I love this community. Y'all see it before I see it, and they're out before I even notice they're there. Y'all protect your tribe. That's what I'm talking about. KBB, we are a tight clique here. I appreciate y'all so much. Which is interesting. I should also mention this, as it's the end of the year, and I've been planning on writing an email, but y'all that are on my email list know that has not been a consistent thing. That would probably be one of the goals I set for business for 2024 is to be more consistent with email communication, like a monthly newsletter or something of that sort. Because if it's not, just like health and fitness, if it's not intentional, planned, strategic, and put in the calendar and, you know, planned in advance, it's not going to happen, right? So I digress. I've just been wanting to make sure that I share how much I appreciate you all and I thank you all for being a part of my tribe, for building such an incredible community. This came up on Christmas Eve with Bronson's family. We were chatting about how amazing it can be to cultivate the kind of community that you don't have to worry about anything. Like, there are no haters, right? You post something in my Facebook group, you post something inside the community in the build or in the private client chat, and you're never going to hear ugliness or criticism. It is all going to be wrapped in love. It's all going to be support, encouragement, just nothing but building each other up. And that's what I wanted this community to be. And I'm just so grateful that the women that I have here embody that and cultivate more of that. And the women that you bring into this community feel the same way. And so we just don't have to deal with it. Like a lot of other creators and coaches out there and influencers out there, they have a whole lot of hate in their comments all the time. And I just feel very blessed and grateful and thankful that that doesn't exist here, because we are nothing but love and positivity. And even if it has to be tough love, it's love. And you feel the love and you know that it's coming from a good place. So y'all are amazing. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about New Year plans. I wanted to share with y'all the details of the Grace and Grind Challenge. Some of you all were on the Grace and Grind Challenge last year. Hey, Christina, so glad you could make it. What up? Some of you were with me last January 2023, where we did the first Grace and Grind Challenge. I'm bringing it back for this year. I am simplifying it, so I want to share some of those details. I do have it written down, and I will share widely probably this weekend, because I've got other announcements that need to happen before the weekend, like about the brand new Keto Bikini Academy that is launching in January. So many of you have been asking, when are you doing your next program? Well, the good news is January is the answer, but also that it's no longer a program you have to sign up for. And if you miss the sign up, you don't get to participate until I do another one. This one will be a monthly ongoing group coaching. So I'm jumping around a little bit tonight, but the Keto Bikini Academy will be launching January 1st. I am working behind the scenes to get the enrollment open before then, so I can start promoting that and get that out to you by the end of the week. So my build ladies will likely have it in the next couple of days, and then it'll go live, Facebook, Instagram, here on YouTube. I will post it and plaster it everywhere, so you will not miss your opportunity to join. And like I said, not like the build, not like the shred. It's not a challenge, and it's not a limited time program. It is a monthly membership. Essentially, you can join month to month. You can commit to a 3-month, or you can commit to a 6-month. And there are package rates for the different ones, but it is something that will be ongoing all year. So if you don't join by January 1st, you can join on January 2nd. You can join on January 15th. You can join in February or in March. So don't worry. I will be sharing all of that very widely soon. So stay tuned for that. Very excited about that. Basically, that will be what my programs have been, but it will be ongoing. You'll get training programming, you'll get macros, you'll get the most amazing community you could ask for. regular communication inside the group forum where you can chat with each other off of the interwebs, off of Facebook on an app, a dedicated app where you can also track all of your body composition data, your metrics, your biofeedback, check in weekly and get feedback from me weekly as a group. Everything happens in a group. So very excited about that. And then that is separate from the challenge. The challenge is going to be free with membership in the Academy. So if you join the Academy at any level, you will get the challenge for free. And you will get entry into every challenge I do for the year as long as you're a member. So if you're a member, when I launch a new challenge, you will automatically be enrolled into the challenge. You can participate or not participate as much as you want, but it is something that is a benefit of membership. So the challenge is starting January 7th, which is the first Sunday of the new year, officially, because the new year starts on Monday. So January 7th, and it is a very simple one this time. There are going to be 4 things. Susan Ware's membership information, it is coming. I have not published it yet. So it will be coming inside my Facebook group, which is Keto Bikini Secrets on Facebook, on my Instagram at the Keto Bikini Pro, and I will likely do a YouTube video explaining it, dropping the links to enroll once everything is live. My goal is to have it live publicly by the end of the weekend. It will be live first for the ladies that are already in the build by Friday at the very latest, hopefully before, and then by Sunday for everyone publicly. So yes, keep your eyes peeled, it's coming. And then the challenge will also be blasted out everywhere, all over the socials, so you'll see it all when it goes live as well. That one I will be opening up first week of January. Right now, I haven't decided if I'm going to do a component, and you all can help me decide. Like I said, it's going to be free for anybody in the membership. I'm thinking of doing definitely sharing the information about the challenge widely so anybody can do it on their own. They can take the criteria and say, here's what I'm doing for the challenge. They can share about it in the group, and I'm not gatekeeping anything. It's not going to be behind a paywall. But to win prizes, to potentially win the grand prize, which I generally give away coaching for free. That is likely what the grand prize will be again. And then I do little prizes throughout every week of the challenge. That will be fun things like maybe some books that you may be interested in, supplements, apparel. I now have all kinds of new keto bikini apparel. So we'll have all kinds of fun prizes throughout. So if you want to be in the running for prizes, then you will need to join the membership. But anybody can run the challenge on their own and share it in the Facebook group for free, and we can also all chit chat there. I'm thinking I'm just going to do those 2 options, but if any of you are in the situation where maybe you don't want to sign up for the membership, you don't want to do all the bells and whistles with having the training and having the macros and all of that, if you wanted to, let's say, just sign up to be a part of the challenge and participate for prizes, I'm playing with the idea of having a low cost of entry, like I did with the Grace and Grind Challenge last year. I did a $40 for 40 days. This one's going to be 30 days, so it could be a $30 for 30 days, where maybe all we do is have a Zoom call just for the challenge, and that would be separate from being a part of the Academy. Y'all let me know your thoughts on that. I'll be making those decisions over the next week. So you can let me know your thoughts on that. But the challenge itself, I want to go ahead and give you some details about it so you can be thinking and planning about how you want to participate in it, what your particular personal challenges are going to be. This is how simple it is. For those of you who are familiar with the 75 Hard Challenge, for example, always comes up. Usually people are very familiar. There are 5 things you have to do daily on that challenge. They are not easy. They are hard. That's why it's called the 75 hard. So similar to that, there's a short list of daily things that you are going to focus on. However, unlike the 75 hard, which I don't love because I don't like arbitrary. If you've seen any of my videos, I don't like anything to be arbitrary because somebody else said to do it. I like for you to figure out for yourself what will move the needle for you, what would be best and most impactful for you. Like we always say, you are the CEO of your body and your journey. So the 4 things in the Grace and Grind Challenge are very simple. There are 4 areas or 4 aspects. We have nutrition, of course. We have movement. I call it movement for a reason, not fitness, not training, movement. So there's a lot that can encompass. So nutrition, movement, personal development or self-development, something that develops you as a person can be, I'll go through each of these and give you some examples of each. But this would be different from the 4th, which is self-care. Self-care, because as ladies, we tend to put ourselves last. So self-care and self-development are not the same thing. If you're doing something for self-development, it's not likely to be the most loving, relaxing thing for yourself. Self-care is more of what are you doing to love on yourself. So those are the 4 areas, but I am not dictating to you what your focus needs to be in each of those 4 areas. So the reason I'm bringing it up here in advance is so that you can start to think, if I divided my life into these 4 sections, right? And there are lots of other sections, right? We have family, we have finances, we have career, we have all this other stuff, right? But these 4 areas of, let's say, of wellness, right? If I had to set one goal to focus on for 30 days for my nutrition, what would that be? I know what it is for Juliana. I did actually dictate that one to her. I mean, really, she told on herself, so she already told me what it was going to be. And I just said, yep, cosign. Right? I would say in the nutrition area, if you have a particular thing you struggle with, the main struggle, the main thing, I want you to think about everything in nutrition. If I just did this one thing, this would be the thing that would move the needle the most for me. That is your thing. Okay? So for me, I'm joining Carnivore Month, World Carnivore Month for January. I did that last year. 2022. I did that 2 years ago. And it made a massive shift in my life. And actually, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what I'm doing. Because of my experience with the garlic bread and recognizing that my gut is still not healed after all these years and after all this time carnivore and all that stuff. I have said it before and I will say it again. Carnivore is not a cure in and of itself. It's removing the stressors. So it can be incredibly beneficial. But if you have an underlying problem, it may not solve the problem. There may be more that needs to be done. So for me, the 30 days of the Grace and Grind Challenge is just the beginning. And I'm actually starting a little bit early. I'm starting January 1st with going pure carnivore. Susan was thinking about doing it. Well, there you go. Or she said, yeah, 100 was going to do carnivore for January. Awesome. Yes, welcome, welcome. So I felt my best. I felt my absolute best on carnivore. I have been playing with carbs over the last few months. I've gotten some improvement in my blood work that I've been looking for, particularly the testosterone. I do not think it was connected to the carbs. I think it was more connected to the calories, increasing my calories overall and increasing my body fat because I was very low body fat coming out of the show last year. So I don't think it's the carbs. And now I want to put that to the test. I am actually trying something that may shock some of you who know me well, and I am doing a high-fat version of carnivore. Now, that is a very open-ended word, right? What does high fat mean? I mean high fat for me. So I'm not going to be eating sticks of butter. I'm not going to be dousing everything in tons of fat. And I'm not going to cut my protein down I'm not going to go 80-20. It's unlikely that it's going to be 80-20. I will still be eating a great amount of protein to maintain my lean muscle and to build muscle. But I will be eating higher fat than my plan is to eat higher fat than I ever have before to see if it makes a difference, and more of a difference in particular than the carbs did, the carbs and the fat, because I put them both in. So my plan is 30 days of carnivore. Toward the end of that 30 days, so probably the end of January, I am going to go into, I don't know if you all have ever heard of this, but it is the GAPS diet. Natasha Campbell McBride, Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride, wrote a book. This is her second book, or this might be her third, but the original book was Gut and Psychology Syndrome. That's what GAPS stands for. That book, I discovered, I actually read that and did that protocol 10 years ago in 2024. It'll be 10 years in January. So ironically, I was just thinking about this as I was thinking about healing my gut. I thought to myself, it may be time to do another GAPS protocol. It's been a really long time. And then I started thinking back, how long ago was it that I did the GAPS diet? It was 2014. So it was 10 years ago in January. So she has now come out with a new book, well, newish. When did this one come out? A year or two ago? 2020, so 3 years ago. Gut and Physiology Syndrome. So I have not read this one yet. I bought it and it's been sitting on the shelf. I think I jumped around and looked at a few things, but I'm going to read this cover to cover, which will be part of my self-development portion of things, of the challenge, because I wanted to get a new physical book that I would read before bed or read in the morning or in between client calls or whenever. So that's part of my personal development as well as reading daily. So I'm going to be reading through this book, refreshing my memory on the protocol and doing the protocol fully from the GAPS intro diet, which from my memory was you start with broth. Basically, you start with broth and then you bring in meat cooked in broth, and then there is a very careful reintroduction. And they have a process and a recommended which foods to introduce first and how. And then you work your way up to the full GAPS diet, which is similar to other elimination diets or clean eating diets like paleo, like AIP, like low FODMAP, but it is a little bit different. They have certain foods that are a little bit different than those other protocols that they bring in and that they don't bring in. So that's my plan for January and then into February, doing a careful GAPS reintroduction. And maybe longer than that. I may end up just slowly reintroducing things, following that process and that protocol very carefully, along with the recommended supplementation to heal and seal my gut, and then moving into the full GAPS diet, potentially bringing back carbs in certain amounts. So I will be taking you all with me on that journey. I will start a new series on my YouTube to share the carnivore January and the gut and psychology syndrome process and protocol. So that will be fun. Great question, Susan. Will you be having coffee in January? That is something I've been thinking about because I love my coffee. I also love it. It is a plant product, and I also love it with, I've been dairy-free for 12 years plus. So off and on, but very, very rarely do I ever put a piece of dairy into my mouth. So I don't use dairy in my coffee, which means I'm using plant-based products in my coffee, like coconut. So here's my plan for the coffee. So far, I have finally been weaning myself off of the flavored coffees because y'all, that is probably my biggest vice, if you will, and probably one of the least healthy things that I consume. Knowing that a lot of those are artificially flavored, and even if they're naturally flavored, we all know natural flavors are suspect. So, but I've always loved them, and I'm honestly losing my taste for them a bit. There is a coffee company that I love now. It is Filipino female owned. It is called Copper Cow Coffee, and it is a very good quality coffee. And they only use real vanilla beans to flavor their vanilla coffee, and they only use cinnamon to flavor their churro flavored coffee. And otherwise, it's just their coffee. They had a pumpkin spice that was all natural spices in there, not flavors. So they have become my favorite coffee. And so I've almost fully weaned off of all of the other coffee that I had that was flavored. I may be giving away some of that in the challenge for those who actually do still want it, because I have more than one bag that I haven't opened that I will not be opening at this point. So my plan is I'm now shifting away from the flavored coffees to the higher quality without the flavorings in them. I am losing my interest in the frothiness of the coffee. I usually do protein powder and MCT oil and my nut pods, which is unsweetened, but it is flavored, non-dairy coconut and almond-based beverage in my coffees. So my plan is to first fully wean off of the additions to the coffee, and then wean off of the flavored coffees, wean off of the things I'm adding to my coffee, and then switch over to Four Sigmatic, which is a plant-based product because it is a mushroom coffee. It is coffee, but they have adaptogenic mushrooms in it. So I have a half calf from them that I've purchased for this process. That will be the next step of taking down the caffeine. This is a similar process that I did back last January when I did the Lion Diet. I actually took all the coffee out. No, I weaned off so that I would wean off the caffeine, and then I took out the coffee entirely. That's what I plan to do. Shorter answer. I always have nice long answers for things, but there's a shorter answer. I will be weaning off of the caffeinated coffee, weaning off the coffee entirely, and then before I start the GAPS intro protocol, I want to be fully off coffee. So what I'm thinking I will do is kind of do like this reverse eliminate, or this slow elimination, starting out with a wide variety of foods in my carnivore diet, and then moving into a lion diet toward the end of January. So phasing out pork, phasing out chicken, going to just ruminant animals. So going to just beef, lamb, and salt. And then with the GAPS protocol, start slowly bringing things back. Oh, Susan said, I've tried many times and I don't like it at all, the Four Sigmatic. Yeah, it is. It has a little bit of a unique flavor, but I don't know how, do you do the ones with the coffee or just the mushrooms themselves? Because I've always done the ones with the coffee and the mushrooms, not just the mushrooms. That would probably be a little much. Like that, what's the one? Not dirt. Mud water. It's just, okay, you do the one with the coffee, but you don't like it. Yeah. This is the thing, like, this is why, okay, going back to the Grace and Grind Challenge, for example, nutrition, right? When you pick your thing for nutrition, it needs to be the thing that's going to make the biggest difference for you. And then you have to think about why. Why am I doing that, right? Why is it important to me? Is it necessary to let go of coffee? Is it necessary? You could always try, and I don't know, Susan, have you done carnivore before? Or would this be your first experiment or experience with carnivore? Because you may not need to let go of the coffee. The question is, what's driving that for you? Because I want to heal the gut and I want to try to take out anything that could be an irritant. Um, I have only ever once, no, that's not true. I guess more than once I've given up coffee. But the one that's more present in my mind is the lion diet. I did it for 3 weeks and I took out the coffee. Yeah, so you have done it before with coffee. Okay, so doing it without would be the challenge. So yeah, that might be and here's the other thing too. The thing that's driving my decisions for the challenge or any challenge whenever I want a push is the mental toughness. I want to let go of attachments. And for me, the coffee is a very strong attachment. So I like to operate with the thought that if I'm too attached to something, I probably need to let it go for a little while. It would be good for me to be strong without this thing. So if that's the drive for you as well, maybe it is time to take that challenge and let the coffee go. I did just try the chocolate raspberry element for the first time today. I made a hot chocolate with it. I couldn't even, it was not for me. I threw it out. So I will not be using that as a substitute. And actually, I would say with the flavors and the sweeteners, I'd probably say that coffee is lesser of an evil, but it depends on the person, right? I know Blaze was talking about reducing and taking out stevia. So, if that's the case, then a person would choose black coffee over Element, for example, because they use stevia. Which is another thing I hadn't thought about yet, is I haven't decided what I'm going to do about my electrolyte water. If I'm going to do something other than electrolytes with flavors and sweeteners, because if the whole point is to take out flavors and sweeteners, that is one thing I have not ever let go of in my entire journey. Even when I did Lion, I was still consuming electrolyte powders. So that would be the real challenge. So maybe I should make that part of my challenge. I'll be thinking about it. So that's the nutrition portion, is pick something that would be a challenge for you that could move the needle on something health related, body composition related, because I will never shame you for wanting to change your body. That is just as valid of a thing, as of a goal as health. And then a lot of the time they go hand in hand. So which electrolytes do I use? I have 2 favorites, and now it is becoming 3 because there is a new one hitting the market tomorrow. I'm sworn to secrecy for now, but tomorrow there's a new one hitting the market. So Bronson's going to be like shouting it from the rooftops because it is now his new number 1. I will be sharing it as well as soon as it goes live tomorrow at 12:30. So Wednesday, 12:30 Eastern, 10:30 Mountain Time. But in the meantime, my current 2 faves are Drink Element, LMNT, and Redmond's Relight. Those are the 2. They pretty much have the same balance of sodium to potassium to magnesium, a little bit different, but mostly on point, really good for keto, higher amounts of sodium than most of the electrolytes you're going to find on the market. So those are the ones for me. Yep, her favorites too. Heck yeah. Yep, nothing else really holds a candle, in my opinion, except for the new one. And they have more flavors. So exciting new things. Okay, so here's the thing. That's nutrition. Think about the thing. And hydration could be part of your nutrition challenge. Last year's Grace and Grind, I had a 5th thing, and it was for hydration. But I really want to focus on the big 4. And those in the group know I always talk about limit the number of things you're trying to do so that you could be more successful in them. Because if you have a list of 10 things you want to do in the new year, you're less likely to be successful at any of them because you're dividing your time, you're dividing your attention too much. So movement, pick your thing for movement. Maybe it would be following a training program, joining the academy and doing the programs with us. In which case, the program would be your goal. You don't have to think about it. It's given to you. You just say, I'm going to follow it. I'm going to do what it says every day. If not, then you could do something like Bronson and I are doing, which is getting up at 6 a.m. and going for our morning walk. That is the challenge for movement for me, because now here's a good example. Some of y'all in past challenges, have said, okay, meeting my macros is my goal for nutrition. If you struggle to meet your macros, if you set your macros or you have a coach that sets your macros and hitting your macros has been a struggle, then hitting your macros absolutely can be your goal. That is your one non-negotiable. Because the way I want you to think about the one thing in each category is that it is your non-negotiable thing. It is going to happen no matter what. Let's say you really struggle to hit your macros. You could say, I'm just going to eat. You're going to take your protein macro and you're going to say, no matter what happens with my carbs and fats, I'm hitting my protein macro every day. And that's your one thing. So I don't use things like my macros as my challenge, because I've been hitting macros for 8 years. That is not a challenge for me anymore. So if it's not challenging for you, it should not be the one thing in your challenge, right? We don't want to pick things we're already doing easily or effortlessly. So think about that when you're choosing your nutrition goal. Christina asks, what was the book again? Gaps. Yes. There are 2 books. One is Gut and Psychology Syndrome. This one is Gut and Physiology Syndrome, but they're both GAPS. If you look up GAPS diet, GAPS exactly, you will see that it'll pop up. Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride, her website. She includes a lot of information for free on the website and all the different books. I think she's written some other books as well. The background of it is that her child is autistic, and it started out, doctors were all very specialized, and so she would be in the forums with doctors and she started putting things together from different specialties and recognizing the gut-brain connection, things that were not discovered back then and now are finally starting to come to the forefront. It is a super fascinating read. The very first one, the Gut and Psychology Syndrome, was super fascinating. It connected a lot of dots for me about my whole life and how I ended up with the problems that I ended up with, from literally being a premature baby to having an eating disorder to literally, it was like it connected all of the dots in all of the areas of mental health and physical health and gut health and endocrine system and all of these things. It was super, super fascinating. So it's a really great read. I'm looking forward to this new one to see what's different about it. But the psychology one is really powerful and fascinating. So movement, pick something that's a challenge to you. Maybe it's following a training program. Maybe it's getting up and doing a morning walk. Maybe it's just walking, maybe setting a step goal. A lot of my ladies in the build have step goals that they've improved how active they are in their day-to-day life. I love a step goal as opposed to structured cardio because it just makes you get a little more creative about how you hit that goal. And it doesn't have to be a structured treadmill walk or whatever it might be. So nutrition, movement, self-development. This is where you could say, okay, I'm going to read X number of pages in a book every day. That's the one in the 75 Hard Challenge. They do a 10 pages a day of a book. I am a person who purchases advanced certifications and then I don't take the course. So when I met Bronson and he discovered how many certifications I had and how many I'd purchased that I hadn't gone through yet. He was like, "That's it, no more. You're not allowed to get any more certifications." And there were some good deals on some higher education courses uh, in the health and fitness space for Black Friday. So I got a couple more that have not been touched yet. And I still have some from past years that I never finished. So for me, like I said, I want to read this book. It's connected to the nutrition challenge. So I may give myself two in the self-development department. And what I will likely do, and this is another great thing that you could do, if you have more than one in an area, you don't have to do every single one every day, but as you could have a list of like a top 3 list for self-development, for example, and you could say, okay, I have this book that I want to read, I have this course that I want to take, or it could be a financial seminar, who knows, anything that will help develop you as a person. And you could have a top 2 or a top 3 or even a top 5 things, and just say, I'm going to do one of these things every single day. So the commitment is daily, but it doesn't have to be the exact same task every day. So I will probably come up with a list of 2 or 3 personal development things, self-development things. And then as long as I do one of the 3 every day, I'm hitting my challenge goal. So, any thoughts or ideas of what you might do for self-development? Things you're interested in. And this can be mindset work too. Like, let's say you do a journal prompt every day. A lot of the time, that kind of stuff, although we could consider it self-care, it feels like work to sit down and journal. It's not easy and it's not therapeutic for some of us. Let's say, you want to get into a meditation habit and it doesn't feel easy for you. It feels like a real challenge. It doesn't feel like self-care. It feels like work. Those things can be all considered self-development. So depending on how it feels to you, I would say let that be your guide on whether you're putting it in the self-development or whether you're putting it in the self-care. The self-care should feel like care. It should feel like love. It is a way that you love on yourself. So what are the things that you really enjoy that make you feel amazing? And that's the thing you want to give to yourself. And that's the commitment to self-care. And you could have a list of 5 or 10 things on that list of things that bring you joy, or joy or relaxation or peace or happiness, smiles, laughter, whatever it might be, the things that feel like love. That list is the list that you can look at and say, as long as I'm doing one of these things every day for myself. And this is where I would say the self-care is where I would make the longest possible list, because we tend to get busy in our day and then forget about ourselves. And you want to have some quick things you can go to. Oh, I didn't do anything for me today. What can I do for self-care right before bed? Oh, I'm going to get on the floor and do some stretching because I feel tight and my joints ache and I need to just relax. Maybe it is 5 sessions of box breathing before you go to sleep because you're struggling to get to sleep. And so you do the breathe in for 4, hold for 4, release for 4, something simple like that. Red light therapy. Mary has her cold plunge. And Mary, I would say, would you put the cold plunge in the self-development or the self-care? Because I could see that going either way. Hot bath. Ooh, yes. Hot bath is definitely a self-care in my book. Ooh, yes, Juliana, I give you permission to buy a new plant every day. Self-care, as long as it doesn't wreck your budget and cause you to then need more self-development. Have to take a budget course. Or you can do both at the same time, one for your self-development, one for your self-care. There you go. Yes, indeed. So hopefully I've planted some seeds of some things y'all can think about for how you want to enter the challenge. Think about the 4 areas. Start making your lists. For the ladies in the build, we can talk more about this on our Zoom call. And private clients will be on that call as well this week. So we can chat about your challenge, things you want to do with that. For anyone who missed it, the announcement, I'm doing a second free workshop. I did the goal setting workshop before Christmas. I'm forgetting what day that was now. If you missed that one, comment below or drop into the Facebook group and let me know that you need the details for that. And I will send those to you. The second workshop is going to be this Saturday, the 30th at 2:00 Eastern. And if you need the Zoom link for that, let me know. I will be dropping it in the build. And if you were already on the email list for the last workshop, you will get the information again. This workshop will be about body transformation planning. So the first one was about goal setting. The second one is about how do you create your plan? How do you choose your macros? How do you choose your training? How do you implement the plan, kind of a thing. And it'll be workshop style. So we'll work through it with some examples for those who can be on live. And then for those who are not able to be on live, as long as you send me your email address, I will get you the replay of that one. So lots going on. By the end of the week, you'll have all the details about the Academy enrollment. You will have the info about the workshop. You can join the workshop on Saturday. And then the first week of New Year's, I will be blasting about the challenge. And you'll have a chance to participate either in the free version or for the prizes inside the Academy by January 7th. So any other thoughts, any questions about planning for the new year? Do you all have overall goals that you're thinking of? Do you set goals according to calendar year? Do you do quarterly goals? I was reminded today in the build, one of our ladies posted an old podcast Bronson and I did last year leading up to the new year that put that on my radar. So I will repost that somewhere on the interwebs, on all of the socials, because it was a good one. It was all about setting goals and what we were planning and how we were planning for the year and all kinds of cool stuff. I want to listen to the rest of it now because I don't remember what else we said. So, Juliana, I love it. I'm starting tomorrow, not January 1st. Exactly. You all can start any day now. It is always new. It's always a new moment, a new minute, a new hour, a new day. So never, ever, ever have to wait for a Monday. You never have to wait for a new month or a new year or a new week. I love it. Start today, start tomorrow. And here's another little tidbit. As you're thinking about your self-care, probably a good self-care one, although it may also tie in with, here's the cool thing. When you set these goals, these very specific one thing in each area, what you realize is it positively impacts a bunch of other stuff. And it creates this snowball effect. For example, for us to get up and do our morning walk, we have to wake up at 6 a.m. That means we have to back up our bedtime. So we're going to bed earlier. That means winding down earlier. So now the whole day is shifting in the way we do things. Last night I could not get to sleep because I wasn't digested because I ate too late. So now my dinner is getting moved earlier in the day. So it's setting up this one decision to get up and walk in the mornings is now setting up my ideal day. I got more done before noon today than I can't remember the last time because I was done with morning movement, back, had my coffee, did my meditation, all the things I normally do, but it was all earlier and I was able to jump into work earlier without feeling that stress of, oh my gosh, I have to wake up and get right to work. It was all this time. I essentially created this morning of 3 hours for myself before I got into giving my day away and my energy away to others. It's a beautiful thing to share your energy with others, but you have to fill your cup first. So on that note, Grace and Grind is all about filling your cup so you can overflow. So I hope to see you in the Grace and Grind Challenge. I hope to see you in the Academy. And for those of you in the build, I will see you tomorrow because I have a video for you, your feedback, your final feedback for the last week. And then we will start fresh in January with the Academy. All right, ladies, have a wonderful evening. Thank you for being on. It was wonderful having you here. And I hope to see you next week or in the communities all over the interwebs. Good night.